All right, the job market ended the year on a soft note. Here to explain why and the impact on our economy, Fox 5 financial analyst Chase Wilsey. Good morning. Always good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you as well.
All right, talk to us about this last report. What did you see?
Yeah, so we saw payroll growth of 50,000 in the month, which was below expectations, lower than the month before as well. There was revisions the month before, I guess I should say, that actually made the jobs report look, I'm going to say, even worse. So not a lot of jobs created as we exited the year. If we look at the full year, there's a little bit over 550,000 jobs created for the full year. To compare that to 2024, we saw 2 million jobs created. So definitely a slowing in payroll growth, which I'm not going to say is obviously good, but it's not super concerning either.
What about layoffs?
So this is where really interesting. Layoffs have not been very high. They've remained actually, I'm going to say, pretty well in check compared to historical standards. Layoffs will never be zero. That's a utopia. That's not going to exist. So if you look at historical standards, layoffs, they remain in a very good spot. So what I look at the current jobs market, people call it a no hire, no fire environment. I say it's a slow hire, low fire environment, because obviously there's going to be some changes to it.
Which means?
Which means I think there are a lot of changes to it. I mean, obviously we saw the government layoffs really take place last year. That had a big impact on the overall data. There was 277,000, I'll call it layoffs or deductions from the government payroll data compared from the January peak. So what I look at is, well, I mean, if you add that 277 back to, again, that 550, 580 number, that would have been a more healthy labor market. And we knew this government layoff situation was taking place. So what I was hoping we'd see is the private sector absorbing that. And very fortunately, we did at least see the private sector absorb some of those layoffs, which, again, was a positive thing to see. We also see the deportations. I don't have exact numbers on that. I haven't been able to find that, but I know that is having some impact on total payroll growth.
You're talking about these different sectors. What specifically? What arenas or areas
are doing well or doing poorly?
Poorly.
Doing poorly. The one that actually got hit the hardest was retail trade. That was a negative 25,000 in the month of December. I think a lot of that has to maybe do with seasonality in the report, but retail trade, that group as a whole, has not seen a gain. There's been net gain is 0 for 2024 and 2025, so that sector has really been struggling. But on the opposite side of that, the one that's really been doing well is hospitality. So bars, restaurants, that's been actually doing very well. What I believe is, again, the economy's still in a good spot. People are not going to be going out to eat at restaurants if they don't feel secure in their finances. They might say they're not, but ultimately, if they're still spending money at restaurants, that tells me there is still some optimism out there in the economy. I view that as a big positive.
We are 14 days into 2026, so if Chase has his little prediction of what's going to happen this year, what do you think?
I think we're going to see a lot of a continuation of what we saw last year. Don't expect booming growth, but I think we will see growth in GDP. I think we'll see growth in this economy. I do think the labor market will remain in that slow hire, low fire environment. And the big one, we got CPI yesterday. That came in at 2.7% on the headline. We are seeing that continue to decelerate, which I think is a big positive. I think we'll continue to see inflation coming down, growth remaining in check, and the labor market remaining, I'm going to say, okay. So 2026, I'm looking for a good year, not a great year, not a bad year. I was just waiting
for you to say good, bad, the words that I understand, and all of that. And you said good, so that makes me happy. Chase, always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.